Hello and welcome to episode 199 of Jobless Weebs. My name is Marco, the big old Mexican.
And Brian, hello.
It's good to see you, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it did snow a little bit earlier, but it wasn't a whole lot, which is good.
Haven't gone outside, so.
Oh, okay, lucky. Oh man. Yeah, it's not too brutal out there, but it's good.
Not yet, at least.
Yeah,
Which-
not yet.
I mean,
Yeah.
just be careful out there if you're driving.
Definitely. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, there was a truck behind me, and I was going along. We were at an intersection. We turned left, and like, I was like in my lane and stuff, but the truck went into the other lane and just all like all out. It was insane past me. I was like, okay, yeah, I get it, but wow, yeah, it was a little crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, trucks, they can handle it way better.
the trucks can.
Oh,
The drivers
It
are
was-
the problem sometimes.
Oh yes,
That's the
yes.
biggest complaint that I have
Yeah.
living here. Like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
where we are is like the drivers.
And
suck
for
at
you
driving in
see
snow.
The difference. Yeah.
Because it's like some of them are like going faster than necessary, some of them are going slower than necessary.
Uh-huh.
But either ways, it creates problems. And it's like,
Yeah.
you would
Oh,
think
yeah.
that for people who live on snow like half of the year,
Uh-huh.
they would know how to.
To get used to it, right?
But no.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's like every time that happens, mistake, everybody forgets. Yeah.
Today we have a really interesting anime.
Yes.
It's a Netflix
Mhm.
anime.
Mhm.
It's not as weird as,
Ooh.
Netflix normally brings.
Oh,
It's still weird.
Yeah,
It's still weird.
It's still up there, but yeah, yes, I agree. from the record that they have now.
Yes. So this anime is called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off.
Yeah.
You might have heard about it.
Oh, definitely.
It has comics, it has video game, it has a live action movie
Yep.
that came out like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was freaking go. And it has a cult following, like tons of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually got introduced to it by two friends.
Oh, okay.
One friend told me about the movie. He's like, hey, I love the movie. And another friend is like, hey, I love the video game. And I was like, are they the same?
Oh.
They're the same.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I actually have it for the PlayStation 4.
Oh, no way. Okay. Oh, I do wanna check it out.
It's a cool story. Like,
It is, yeah.
the story that Scott Pilgrim versus the World entails, it's about this boy, Scott Pilgrim, meets girl. He has to fight the League of Evil Exes
Yeah.
one by one, kind of like to be allowed to date the girl, Ramona Flowers.
Mhm.
And at the end of the movie / the games, they get together, and every time that he beats, a boyfriend or the enemy NPCs,
Oh, yeah.
he gets money.
Yeah.
Like money spawns whenever kind of you
The enemies
you
defeated.
you defeat them,
Yeah.
you kill them, or I
Just
guess
like,
defeat them. It's
uh-huh,
it's the right word.
Yeah. Classic side scroller fighting type.
Yes, and it's really good. The
It
character
is.
design, really
Yeah.
cute. Yet kind of like has this touch of uh, Eastern and Western mixture in it,
Mhm.
and the anime did perfectly.
Oh, it did.
Put in
It
this
did.
this kind of like fusion of
Uh-huh.
Eastern animation, which is anime, and Western animation, which is at this point something really weird. The Western animation, because
Yes.
it varies.
It varies a lot. Yeah. Definitely. And it uses this together to make something very, very unique. It stands out a lot. Uh, the guy who created it, Brian Brian Lee O'Malley, he he was inspired by a few anime out there, but then also he's Canadian, so he has this like input that's or creativity that's really really unique for him.
Yeah, the anime does have the same voice actors as the actors from the movie 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But the plot is not the same. So if you were expecting like, hey, I played the game, I watched the movie, now I want to see the
Or
exact
you
same
even read
thing
the
on the
original.
anime, or yeah, I think the comics don't vary a lot because it's a little more extensive and
It is, yeah,
and it dives a lot more into some of the characters.
Yep.
This anime, it's a different story. Granted, it also dives a lot into the life of the characters.
Definitely, like the backgrounds,
Yeah.
the exes.
But a little different, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't get the chance to read a lot of the comic,
Okay.
but I did see some pictures of it, and it's like, okay, this is a bit different. And so the anime starts just like the movie, just like the video games. It's a dream about Ramona, but this boy, he doesn't know her yet. He's just dreaming about her, and so he wakes up and he's like, I had a dream about her again. And he's sleeping right next to a dude.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and like,
it's just
it's still just like the movie. It's like, oh, like Scott Pilgrim, fun fact about him. And then it's like, oh, his friend, his cool gay friend. And he's just like crashing at his friend's place. And he's like, no, I have some of my stuff here. It's like, and everything is like,
oh yeah, it's all labeled
his friend's stuff
in a very comedic way. Oh yeah, it's so great.
And so he's a 23-year-old boy, Canadian.
Yep, in Toronto, Canada, and it's just a really, really like, as we said, very unique style of like animation. I also like how throughout the scenes here we get to see, along with those like pop-ups that come up with like, Wallace's such and such thing, but also like all the sounds have the word effects just like in comics.
Yeah,
I love that aspect to it.
Yeah, I really liked it. And kind of like what they did with Spider-Man's on the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it did Spider-Verse.
And kind of like low key, this is kind of like multiverse.
Oh yes, it actually is. Yeah,
but we'll
get to that too
later.
Yeah, for sure.
So the story continues.
Yeah,
and his life it's pretty normal. They go to a party. They're still showing fact and checks of some of the characters, and then it happens. He sees the girl of his dreams, and we have this very iconic scene that appears on all the media
and everything.
That is just him, just like standing next
by
the wall, right next to her.
Yep.
And he was like, "Are you real? Excuse me?" He was like, "What a way to break the ice."
Yeah. and he's a run of the mill awkward kid with his cup, squishes it, and he's just like really, really embarrassed by the turn of events, the turn of conversation, and then he just leaves after that. Oh, it's fantastic. So he goes around after that. He's also in a band called the Sex Bob Oms.
Oh, yes.
Yep. They suck.
Yeah, they do. And he's also dating a 17-year-old girl, and her name is Knives. They introduce a member of the bands. The drummer is one of Scott's ex. Her name is Kim. We have the lead guitar and vocals, Steven Stills. That's right. We also have young Neil.
Oh yeah, he owns the place, and he's like a writer.
Yeah, and
so silly.
This is
Oh yeah.
Everything goes just like the movie. Just like the
That's
game.
right. Mm-hmm.
Even to the part where Scott goes to that girl, Julie,
Yeah.
that she hates him.
Yep.
She hates his guys. He's like, hey, you're not invited. He's like, hey, by the way, like, do you know a girl like this?
Like this.
He's like, oh.
He's like, oh yeah.
He's
Ramona.
like, oh, Ramona,
oh.
yeah, don't get closer. He's like, okay, I'll try not to listen to you. So,
and he goes off. Classic.
Yeah, he goes off. It changed a little because on the movie Ramona works for
it's
for,
like
delivery,
kind
of like Amazon,
basically.
And in this she works for Netflix, which is kind of like
like a DVD,
a weird combination of Redbox and Uber Eats.
Yeah, exactly. It's so strange. And she goes on rollerblades to deliver these things, and they do meet. They meet when he orders like some DVD.
A movie from Netflix,
and he waits there.
He waits.
It's like so
days because it happens like that transition of like day night and Wallace was just like doing stuff and it's like, are you really gonna wait there? It's like, do you have anything better to do with your life? So he's like, up until this point, we're still good. Like, we're according to the movie.
Yep.
Then they have this interaction of when she stops to drop the movie and he makes his move. And they do agree on a date. They do go on a date and they end up in Ramona's apartment and they
sparks fly.
The sparks. They spend the night on their apartment. They don't do anything. Still pretty PG. But behind the scenes we start to see the league of evil exes. And they're still concocting all of these plans to fight Scott. And they're like, oh, okay, we got all of Scott's information. And we see Matthew Patel, which is kind of like the first evil ex-boyfriend. And he's like, okay, I'll prepare something. This part was funny because he writes a letter explaining all of it.
Oh, yeah.
And next day, Scott is like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, whatever.
He literally just tosses it. Oh my gosh. So they have a concert coming up for their band, and so he doesn't know, he doesn't like think anything of that letter or anything of that. So he goes over, and when they're there, he realizes he didn't tell Knives up to this point that he went on. He's going out with another girl. So, like pursuing another girl.
Which from his point of view, he is not dating because they just held hands once, but still, it's 23-year-old guy with a 17-year-old girl.
Right.
It doesn't look good.
Right.
And he's like, age is just a number. Yeah, prison is just a room.
Right. Yeah.
But go on. Yeah.
Yes.
So, everything's happening. Like, it's going great on the concert, as you will.
Yeah.
Ramona, kind of like, it's right next to Knives. And they're like, hey, I'm seeing someone from the band. Oh, me too.
I was like, oh, no way. Oh, my gosh. Cringe to the max. So they're up on stage now. Scott is playing up there. They're doing their thing, but then Michael Patel, he shows up and he crashes the place, and he basically challenges Scott, hey, I'm here to fight you, and like, hey, we're gonna do this now. And Scott's like, wait, what? And he's like, did you get the memo? Like the letter I sent? He's like,
oh yeah, like, could you tell me again? Like, dude, I wrote everything exactly? Really specific. I went on a blizzard.
Oh man!
You told me you didn't read it. It's like, Sorry.
Oh man, comedy gold right here. It's so great.
And they start the
jeez.
fight, and it
Oh,
was
yes.
still like the game, just
Oh,
like the movie.
yes.
Is like
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus Matthew
Yeah.
Patel fight.
Yep.
And so
Classic style.
yeah, when they're about Matthew Patel is about to release like a
Yeah.
super punch,
Uh-huh.
and so is Scott. Then
right.
Scott disappears, and just money appears.
Yep.
And we were like, whoa, he literally like hit Scott to death.
Yeah.
Because he disappeared, and everyone is like, what? Because everyone is like, what just happened here? Like, he disappeared. And at this point, it's like, okay, this is not like the movie or the games or
totally
anything
different.
And fast forward to the next episodes, we actually just have the rest of the anime, or most of the rest of the anime, seen from Ramona's point of view, and kind of like her search for Scott. Like, is he dead?
Track down what happened.
Is he not dead? Like, what really happened there? Because she starts having kind of like these, I wouldn't say hallucinations, kind of like these dreams about Scott, and it's like, no, Scott's still alive. It's like alive. Someone must have kidnapped him and fake he's dead. And
so and this is even insisting, everybody else is wrong, because everybody else they really believe, he's dead. They even hold a funeral for Scott, and just with the coins. Oh yes, with the coins in this coffin. Oh my gosh! Oh man, that was the funniest detail. And Envy comes in. She does her song. It's really awesome. But yeah, it's very funny. Because everybody's there, at the funeral, but she comes in and she says, "Thanks for coming out to see me," and she does her song. Oh, it's the greatest thing. But yeah, Ramona, episodes later, through the next episodes, she's looking for him. She like goes to everybody, finding out like who like did this, and she's checkmarking everyone off. Yeah, which is clever, because that's what happens.
The thing is that Ramona starts fighting her evil exes which is different. Another thing that diverged from the story is the fact that Matthew Patel, he was the first one to be defeated. He was kind of like the weakest.
Oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
And then on this one, he actually went directly to the last boss.
Yeah.
Which is Gordon Goose.
Oh, right. Yep.
And he beats the crap out of Gordon.
Yeah.
Essentially, like, winning his entire supervillain empire and money and friends and everything. And he's like, yeah, I did it. And Gordon is like, what the heck just happened? I was like, that was not supposed to happen. Because, like, in the comics, Gordon, he is a jerk.
Yeah.
And he's a really strong jerk.
Yeah.
Like, he's the mastermind behind, and in here, Gordon is defeated easily. And so he falls, I guess, from his grace. He goes back to Julie.
Yeah.
Which, more on that later.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But Ramona starts kind of like her search, because it's like, well, the only people who will not want me to be with Scott are my evil exes.
The exes. Yeah. So she goes to everybody on the she goes through the list. Like Lucas is one of her first ones.
Actually, the first one was the girl.
Oh, Roxie. Oh, okay.
So that happens in episode 3. She goes to the rent a video store. And we're not gonna cover the fights. The fights are good, so you should watch them.
It's incredible. It's very emotional.
And this is the part that I kind of like about this anime, is that man, it seemed kind of like a silly anime, because like the movie and the games, they're just silly. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah.
straightforward. It's like, okay, yeah, you have Scott. He's fighting the Axis. He he's climbing the ranks, and he ends up with the girl.
Uh-huh.
And it has some kind of like valuable lessons.
Oh yeah,
Kind of
yeah.
like towards the end of the
Yeah.
movie, like uh Scott learns kind of like to love himself. Because you're like, I do remember that scene that he was like,
Mm.
oh, the power of loving yourself. Because like,
Mm.
oh, the power of love for Ramona. And then it's like, oh, the power of loving yourself. And that's how he
Oh
got the
yes,
power
yes.
up. But in
Yeah.
this one, you get all of that from Ramona and
Ramona's
from the evil exes. Because you
Mm-hmm.
start to see kind of like a pattern in
Right.
which Ramona was. She was a bad person.
She was. Well, in the sense that she would have this relationship with an ex, and then she would, like be involved with them in various levels of a relationship, and then she would be the one who leaves, walks out,
Yeah,
and it
and
hurts her
the
ex.
the worst thing is that she was not even dumping them.
Right,
She
right.
was straight up, ghosting them,
Ghosting. Uh
which
huh.
is kind of like a little worse.
Yeah,
Which I
at
would,
least
yeah,
for Roxy, yeah, it devastated her, uh, and and uh, and and it really reflects on her like emotional status and I guess like outlook on life.
yeah,
The movie arc is
yeah. That
very very
I
wacky.
would say the next two,
Next two episodes.
which is Lucas,
Uh huh.
yeah, and
Oh yes,
it
Lucas
happened
first,
something
and
similar.
then
Look,
Todd.
Lucas is like, whatever.
Yeah,
Like, I'm rich, I'm handsome, like I can do
yeah.
whatever the heck
His
I want.
song of United States
Like,
of whatever.
yeah, he's in
Oh yeah,
California. He
yeah.
has a really bad reputation, so he goes to Toronto
Mhm.
for this a movie that young
Yeah,
Neil wrote
apparently wrote.
about
Uh,
um, Scott Pilgrim Precious Life, and it's the
mm-hmm.
story of what
Scott
would have
Pilgrim's Little
happened
Precious
if
Life.
Scott
Yeah,
would have won.
yeah,
Which it's kind of
Which is
like the
like
original movie.
okay, right? And so it's like what? And the audience, we see young Neil he sees someone else at his computer, and so we're like, what the heck is going on? But this movie, it basically has Lucas as Scott, and then like that goes to a head where he fights the paparazzi, the ninja paparazzi. Oh, it's fantastic. And Ramona also is like involved with fighting them too. Uh, it's incredible. And then Lucas, he's basically like uh, he like leaves the set, and Todd comes in. He's also cast as Scott, and he has the vegan powers. Oh my gosh! So
that
yeah,
was
so yeah, it,
that was so funny. The
it
big
is,
powers,
yeah.
how he would just kind of like go like Super Saiyan, and he
And
can
is
create
the
vegan
portals,
portals.
vegan portals. Oh my gosh! And that's the thing for Ramona. Ramona, she finds out by looking at the footage of the night that Scott fought Patel. She finds out that somebody did a vegan portal and took Scott away, leaving like the money apparently in his stead. So now she's trying to find out, you know, who kidnapped Scott, who took Scott away. So she thinks, oh, maybe Todd did it. Crazy
This
stuff
episode is quick
ensues
because
with this
like
guy. Oh my
like
gosh! Yeah.
so you had Ramona,
Mhm.
again ending things how they were supposed to be ended with Lucas. Right
Yeah.
after we have Todd, and
Yeah.
Todd is dating uh,
Envy.
Envy,
Hmm. Hmm.
and Envy is kind of like the new Ramona. Ramona
Oh
is
yes, yes,
the
yes.
stunt double
Of
for Envy.
of Envy playing her. Oh my gosh, it's so wacky.
And like this part kind of cracked me up a little bit because
Yeah.
I thought it was just ridiculous because like
is.
it was just every scene that it was Todd or Scott and Envy slash Amber, and they they were like start making out right in front, and the director was like, "Oh my god, was like, please stop doing that." And Wallace was there, is like,
"What are we gonna do?
Let me give you an idea."
And it's like he's like telling him, and he's like, "Oh,
I like that idea.
Like that idea.
Really progressive, right?
Yeah, it's like take 40 plus.
And I found this part funny, especially because on the movie, Wallace was always stealing Scott's sister's boyfriends. I don't know if you remember that part.
Oh yeah.
But in this one, it's like Wallace did exactly the same with Todd, and Todd was like, oh, there were sparks. And
right. Right.
We want to keep this PG, so we're going to keep that part.
Yep. All right. And then
they're like, trailer, lines, now. Okay.
Yeah, okay. And yeah.
The thing is that all of this lasted like 3 days. So it wasn't even that long.
No.
But they were always rehearsing their lines.
Right. And so they're doing this documentary thing too, and then Ramona's like, hey, like, this isn't working out. Like, I need you to like do something else. And then Wallace, she says, okay, yeah, I'll take care of it. Todd, he flips and he's like, but the sparks.
He's like, what sparks? Man, the next fight.
Oh yes.
It's
Ramona.
Like Ramona Flowers versus Wallace. Or Ramona stunt double, which is Ramona, versus Wallace stunt double, which she had 4.
4 of them. Oh my gosh. It's so wacky.
Just one of the scenes that I would like to also highlight is the fact that Wallace was throwing insults at his stunt doubles. It's like, you call that a kick? He's like, you call that a punch? And you're like, you know what? We can't support physical pain. We draw the line on emotional harassment. And they're like,
verbal abuse. Yeah. Oh, it's so silly.
This is the part that I think it was also great in, mixing, Eastern and Western kind of like comedy. Because in a lot of anime, they tend to highlight a lot of like those kind of like I think it's really hard to put to be sarcastic on animes because being honest, sometimes I don't see a lot of sarcasm. A lot of it's really literal.
Oh yes.
And in here it was something like that. They were kind of like putting some sarcasm, some really little things, and punchline joke. But yeah, things they figure things out. Todd stops being vegan because he has his heart broken.
Yep. Yep. He's eating like the fries, the animal style fries. Oh, it's so great. Ramona finds out or figures out.
Yeah, we're talking with Envy, right?
That it was not him that took Scott. Poor Envy. Well, she kind of did her own stuff from then on, so it's great for her. But yeah, yeah, it's really really silly.
She's crossing names and there's still nothing.
Yeah.
Then her next names are Julie and
Julie and.
His name it's not
right Gordon Goose, but
yeah,
right. His
her name is not Gideon. His name is Gordon.
Yeah, Gideon. His name's Gordon. That's right. This is pretty silly because the highlight for them is that Lucas, he's not on the set anymore. He's a bum now, and so he's trying to find a place to stay, he goes over to Julie's, and then
I really love how
Gordon
they
is
had
there.
like their bro moment.
Yep. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they're like, dude, you left me. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, can we start over? Yeah, we can be friends. And the
Oh, yeah.
song
Oh, yeah.
from Vampire Weekend, like and they just like
And they
start
go all out. They do
like building like a a ramp for
Yep, they have a skate
skating.
ramp.
They're still
they do paintball. They just
they're
watch
like watching
anime.
shoujo anime. And it's like
and they're like
you're
crying.
right. Sometimes I'm a baka, and they're like, this is beautiful. It's like so they do love each other, right? It's like this is the 12th season. You wouldn't understand. I can let you borrow it.
I can let you to understand the backstory.
Really
Oh
weird.
my
Really
gosh.
weird thing to do.
It's so fantastic.
Which I was like, yes, I get it.
Oh yeah.
And then,
But then
Julia Roberts is like,
Rise.
I was gone for 90 minutes, and you would have think that was like days or something. It's like they were just left unsupervised for days, and she was like,
90
I was gone
minutes.
90 minutes. Like,
And of course, she has the signature, the bleep bleep. It's so great. Oh man.
But yeah, once again,
Oh yes,
Ramona
they do the
ends up
flashback.
things good with Gordon.
Yep.
We also had the flashback from Gordon, like what made him be like that.
Yeah, from high school.
Yeah.
so silly. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, fearless. Yeah.
But yeah, Ramona kind of like tells us like, hey, dude, like if you like her, like treat her right, not like you treated me or something. Like, I mean, they kind of like end things good.
Yeah. It's a very clean like conclusion.
Yeah, and that was the thing with every boyfriend, girlfriend.
So, right. Ex. right.
Yeah, she was, actually ending things like she should have done. But
Right.
more on that later.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's like, okay, now I'm officially lost. I think like the only suspects are the twins.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how they can have a vegan because they're not vegans. And then she starts kind of like making the connections, like really big brain moves.
The robot.
And it's like the robot, it's a vegan. And it's like,
it's like, what?
I mean, yeah, I can probably see vegans saying that. It's like, oh yeah, robots are vegans. Okay,
Robots are
sure.
vegans. Oh yes, yeah.
And she receives,
and the robot is there actually in the house too.
Yeah, the robot has been
Everywhere.
in every episode, just like expectating.
Yeah. Oh yes.
And on the side of Sex Bomb.
Oh yes.
With the band, we have Knives, who had started like her music career of just like 4 hours of practice, and she's already killing it.
She's already like high level bass player. Yep.
And she's like, writing songs, and young Neil is like, oh, young Neil, like you must be sad that the movie like did not.
And he's like, no.
Landed is like,
no.
Honestly,
I didn't even write it.
Yeah, didn't do it. So it's like, wait, what? And they also go a little more into too deep. They're like, oh, you actually didn't write it because this file was created 14 years in the future. And it's like, man, it's like, honestly, I was not expecting, time traveling.
I was not either. No, like, I mean, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you normally expect it from a lot of shows. You're like, oh, okay, there's some time traveling here. It's like, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But in this one, it was like,
it's like
wait,
how
what?
anime goes kind of thing.
And so they go tell Ramona that, like, hey, like, this script is actually based from the future. Someone must have sent it. And they're like, oh, crap. It's like, then who actually like kidnapped him. Like, what just happened? And then Scott knocks. Is like,
Yeah.
hey, and they're like,
Yeah.
I mean, before that,
Hilarious.
and kind of like during that moment,
Mm.
we have also Scott again,
Ah.
kind of like ending things properly with knives, because he's like, hey, I'm kind of like seeing someone else, and
Oh,
Knives is like,
yeah.
yeah, I kind of noticed that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, I'm kind of old, and
Yeah.
Locke,
Right.
the Locke kind of like frowns upon these type of behaviors, so
Yeah.
we get introduced to a new character.
Mm-hmm.
New character. It's Ramona from the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they explain like, yeah. It was the twins. It was the robot. They're a vegan robot. They made all of this plan, and then we have kind of like this, this thing that you were not expecting, but when you see Ramona, you're like, okay, I kind of see that happening. Like I kind of see it coming from there. Like, where you going now? And it's the story of how Scott was kidnapped by Scott.
Yep. Yep. And this is the mind-blowing part. So he is old Scott, 37 years old, from the future.
He has a beard.
And he has a beard now. and yeah, and so this is like we get the flashback of what happened. Scott was the one who took, well, Scott, and he's like, like at Wallace's
Mansion,
quote unquote, yeah. and they're like going through all these things, like, yeah, well, like, what the heck, like, how did you do that, why did you do that, and all this type of stuff. And Scott is going through it, and we find out that it was the robot who did the vegan portal. And Scott's like, yeah, the twins came up with it, and they were like, if we disconnect the robot from the space-time continuum, then he can.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wait, what? And then it's like, oh yeah, he can experience all of his experiences, all the time, all at once, simultaneously. And it's like, oh, okay,
yeah,
that explains everything. Yeah, okay.
and
Oh my god.
the thing with this Scott is this is the original Scott. This old Scott.
Yes.
This is the Scott from the games and from the movies.
Because he shows younger Scott.
Yeah, his memories of how he beat all the evil exes. Mm-hmm. He ended up with the girl, and he ended up marrying the girl. And they're like, "Wait, you're telling me that we married her?" Yeah. He's like, "Yeah, but we're separated now." And he's like, "So tell me what did I do?" And he's like, are you saying that I did something?
It was like, my fault.
Yeah. This part was interesting because, man, old Scott, he's a wreck.
He is.
He's like, he seems together. He's this 30-something year old guy, still behaving like a 20-something year old guy.
Yeah.
Who's just there for, for the fun, for the fights, for the playing around, for the good times. And, every responsibility is like, nah.
Yeah.
Which, as much as an adult would love to do that, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah, life happens. And you can't be with the free trial all the time.
Right. Yeah. So old Scott, he has this idea, his reasoning is that if he can, well, that's kind of like going a little bit further into the Well,
Yeah,
well,
he,
anyway,
he wants to
he's
stop
like,
Scott
yeah,
from end up with
the
Ramona.
long and the short.
Because he says like,
Exactly.
oh, my biggest mistake was that I actually won and got the
Yeah.
girl.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, because from there, like we got married and everything was happy, but then fights started happening and now we're here.
So I'm just gonna like prevent everything, and it's like pretty interesting plan, because it's like, yeah, your older self, yeah, that's a good idea. Stop yourself from getting with the girl if you're at this point of life.
Yeah, kind of like,
okay,
is it
great
though?
idea.
Is it?
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like, oh
So-
yeah, for sure, all my problems could be solved if I could go back and slap my younger self, telling him no.
No.
Because it's like,
Right.
not likely.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, it's clear that you have not watched Steins Gate.
Right. Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Seriously.
But yeah, John Scott,
yeah.
he goes to see Ramona of the future with Wallace, and Ramona has these DeLorean skates.
Yep.
Where she can also travel,
she goes to
travel
88
in time.
miles an hour, and we don't know what that is in kilometers. She can time travel. Yeah. They're so funny.
And
like
that's how she was,
so
like how old Ramona was introduced on
Yeah.
the present, if you will.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, yeah, you know what? We met this guy and everything's here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
kind of like, it's done.
Yeah,
like,
Scott is
Scott
back.
is here. They can be together.
Yep.
When they're about to kiss.
Oh yes. Force field, and
Yeah.
you can't kiss.
Honestly, I really loved how Knives was getting like the time of her life.
Oh yes,
like,
because they show everybody, and it's like she.
Yeah, Knives was like, he's like, yeah, you were dating me, and now you're like with the girl you like, but now you can even kiss. He was like, I found that hilarious. And now they think that again, it's one of the exes.
Yeah, they.
He's like, hey, do we have
think,
to beat all the exes?
Right.
Again?
Right. To like actually like go through and finish it off, because Scott, he saw that's what he did.
He saw
his
himself.
previous timeline. Yeah. And so funny thing, they have like a musical for Scott.
Yeah,
for Scott's
for the one that was supposed to be the movie.
Whatever the name is. Yeah.
And Matthew Patel is Scott.
Yeah.
And it's a
he's
musical.
Scott.
And honestly,
And
I do want to see
pitched
the
it,
musical.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting, because it did seem like they had interesting songs. Like they only showed it in the background. But yeah, it looked interesting.
But yeah, in this musical, all the exes are together.
Yep.
And it's still Scott being Scott.
Yeah.
Because he, like, first times they see them, he's like, "Wah, fight
Let's
me!"
go.
He's
Yeah.
like, Scott Pilgrim versus. He's like, hey, wait.
It's like, no, I'm not going to fight you. I'm here to
he's like, yeah, I'm just here for a good time. We see Todd eating, like, some chicken. Like, we see everyone, like even he wanted to fight the twins. He's like, hey, stop.
Yeah. Even
our
the
Robert
twins.
told us that we're actually pretty good friends in the future. So
yeah. So
you're good, man.
We're good, bro.
And Scotty's like,
and that's everyone. He goes through all of his exes. They come through. They're all good, and he's like, okay.
He's like, I guess we'll watch the musical.
Yeah.
And it feels really anticlimactic
It does.
he's like,
yeah.
Like, I can't believe like I made it this far and this is the end. And like it started to feel like a Monty Python movie. It's like okay, we have everything from the beginning to the climax. We just don't know how to end it.
Yeah.
And then there's transported when Gordon Goose was about to pull some supervillain stuff.
Yeah,
they're transported to kind of like a desolated land.
Yep. And this is the big reveal. We see even older Scott.
Like it's all
and the
Scott is
visual
like
is just hilarious.
it's all Scott. Wrong. I'm even older, Scott. And he's
and he's like 10 years.
47.
Like 47. Yeah. And he's like.
And man, let me tell you, because you know when they put like even older Scott is like.
Oh yeah.
Physical and mental health.
Oh
unknown.
Yes. Unknown. Yeah, that was so great. Yeah. Oh man, it's amazing. Oh, it's so clever. And everyone is there. You know, all the exes, Ramona, Scott, and they're all like, "What the heck is going on?" And even Gordon is like, "Hey, like, I have my own evil plans. Like, you can have your evil plans." Like, and then even older Scott, he's like, you know, he's pretty BA. He's like, he has awesome powers. He can
Can't use the force.
On his knees, yeah. and he tells Scott, you know, like, hey, that was a mistake. Like it's me. Like, I'm the one to blame for the AK field. And he's like, oh, what's that? Anti-kiss field.
We're like, oh, clever.
Yeah. He's like, what, 47 years old, and he's still like
a shonen protagonist.
Exactly.
Because he's like cuckoo.
He really is. Yeah.
Because he's like, hey, I knew that you wouldn't listen to me because I know me, and it's like. Okay, go on.
Like,
and he's like,
not together with Ramona.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not together with Ramona. I'm like, I'm alone, and
mistake.
all of that is because you ended up with the girl, or I ended up with the girl. So I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah, and his memories are fuzzy, which is interesting because it's like, you know, with changing timelines, you see that sometimes with people's memories. Their memories like try to merge, but sometimes like it doesn't work.
I think this one was more of like a Steins Gate kind of thing, because you know, like
definitely was.
There is like, just one of them was jumping in between timelines.
But then the other one,
but at the same time, it was, you know, kind of like the consciousness jumping the timeline because the person was still on the timeline. Kind of like, you know, the marker from A and the marker from B are kind of like different persons.
Yeah.
But Marco A can be in Marco B. And Marco A will be the new Marco B.
Right.
And Marco A will be like, just keep leaving.
So in that regard, yeah, it is like Steins Gate.
Yeah, it was
like a world line, not quite like timeline. Yeah, I love that. Oh, I love it so much.
And so the fight of the century ensues, and it's
Scott. It's
the world
versus
Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, so cool. I love that.
And I love the animation in here because, you know, like you have the best traits from everyone, and like they receive a power up.
Yep.
Kind of like Todd receives again his vegan powers back.
Vegan powers, yeah.
Like
Lucas, he has like a really cool skateboard now. Roxie, she is like a
really cool katana.
Yep.
And yet they kind of beat him, and they Scott defeats every one of them, and they respawn.
Yeah.
And like you know, it was still this video game kind of like logic, and like they were defeated and they were respawned back on the theater. And now we only had Scott and Ramona fighting, and it's not looking good.
Yeah.
Because you know, like this old man, it's just delusional and just still blaming everything on his past self.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah. Oh, basically, yeah.
And when it's about to, you know, kind of like land the last blow, we get even older, or like I wouldn't say older because like on her fun facts. On her fun facts appear like do not ask her age.
Yeah. That's right. Do not ask her age. And then this one is future Ramona Flowers, age even older, but still don't ask. Love it. Yeah, it's so great. So this even older, this future Ramona, you know, she's there and she's like, basically trying to stop them, but even older Scott, he's like, he's like, oh, like oh, I'm so sorry. He like changes a little bit with his uh, w- like intimidate getting intimidated by Ramona, but he's still, like, hey, it's a mistake. Like, why can't you see it's a mistake?
Yeah, kind of like it's you. It's
It's
not like
yeah,
your younger self. It's like, but
yeah,
you left me. And it's like, I
uh-huh.
told you I wanted space.
Like,
It's like,
yeah,
so are you
yeah.
ready to come back? And I was
So
like, it's been 10 years, dude. Come on.
not
It's
even a
like,
text.
it's like you disappeared for
How
10
much
years
space do you
straight
need?
up. Like,
Hmm.
you know, where were you? And at this point, they're just like playing hot potato.
Yeah, like, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. Yeah, and it can literally go on forever. It has gone on for a very long time already.
I mean,
10 years plus
more than that.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
plus whatever happened beforehand. Uh,
And yeah,
Jeez
he
Louise.
goes berserk again.
Yeah.
Because he's like, what are you going to do? You're going to run like you have always done? And he's
Uh-huh.
like, boo,
Oh crap.
like man,
And
he
there
got
it
you there.
is.
He got you there. Because
Yeah, and
it's
that's
like
the problem.
future Ramona is there, like younger Ramona is there, and younger Ramona is like, man, it's like
Yeah.
I don't even have a comeback for that.
Yeah,
Because
he's
it's
right.
true.
Yeah.
She starts, having this flashback of all the time that she left her exes.
Uh-huh.
And then like something a little more unexpected happened.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Like,
she
the
fuses
climax.
with her older self, which this was kind of like big
It's
psychological fantasy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh man, you connected with your older self, and
Yeah,
then you
like-
had a kind of like an awakening, and
yeah, transcendental moment. Yeah, it's like all those stories where the enemy is you or whatever, but then I do know of a few stories where it's like, oh, you have to accept yourself, or this is definitely one of those. Ramona, yeah, it's incredible.
which the movie was about that, but for Scott,
Yeah,
which
uh-huh.
he's like, yeah, love yourself, but yet there was still a lot of character development for him.
Oh yes,
But
yes.
in the movie, Ramona didn't grow at all.
Right, yeah, it wasn't her. Yeah.
And in this one, all the growth was for Ramona and Scott. Because like after she had this transient moment of like, she just like disappeared.
Yeah.
Old Scott back
Old
into
Scott.
the garage or whatever that was. And then she was like, okay, young Scott is like,
yeah.
Let me just tell you something because I will probably forget it.
Oh,
but I want you to help me out just so that I don't forget it and that I don't be like a crappy girlfriend like I had been. And like she breaks the
yes, she breaks the AK field.
AK field.
Yep.
And she's like, yeah, I love you, Scott, and all like you think. And then I was like, man, this show shouldn't have been called Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. This show should have been called Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers Grow Up.
Oh no, that's too sad. Wow.
Because like they have this kind of thing, and that there was miscommunication.
Oh yes.
From both parties,
both
in
sides,
which Ramona was just like running away.
Yeah.
And that Scott was blaming the first action that he did, that was meeting Ramona.
Blaming it on himself. Yeah.
That was caused their meltdown. It was like, no, not talking with each other about the problems or being adults about it.
Right.
Which,
use your words.
Yeah, like, why don't you use your words for once instead of like trying to beat the crap out of people? Because that was
that's exactly the whole story up to now. Yeah. Ramona says, like, no matter like how I treat you, even if I like run away, like, like always try, like, kind of a thing.
I was like, oh man, that's so romantic.
Yeah, it was very romantic. He gets transported back to the theater. That ends, and they all leave. It's very, very silly, but incredible climax, incredible moment. I like how they show where everybody is afterwards.
Oh yeah,
It's really, really great.
yeah.
They have like
their lives are kind of
moments.
better.
Yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh, for every one of them.
Even the band.
Oh, yes, even the band,
Like,
because Knives
Knives
is there
joins
with
the
them,
band.
and they're even better now. I mean, they don't suck. So yeah, it's very funny. I also wanted to mention one other thing, along with like their happy endings. Well, of course, we do get the end credits. We hear the original Scott Pilgrim song from Plumtree, the song that inspired Brian O'Malley with the lyrics of that song. We hear that song, which was pretty cool, and then we also see an ending shot with Gordon and Julie.
And Julie, right?
Uh-huh. And they say, now the real game begins.
Yeah, which
the goose is loose. Oh my god, it's so great. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, you know, like
amazing.
if it's just gonna be like one season thing.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
It's good.
Yeah,
but
like
this leaves
story.
like a really good room for a second season.
Yeah,
especially because
in a different type of story. Yeah,
and you know they have introduced already. You know the Pilgrimverse.
Right. Yeah, we get the
so this might as well be another timeline.
Yeah, it might as well. Yeah,
or you know another world.
Yeah, right. Yeah, basically is because it's all building up on each other from the previous iterations into like a multi-layered story.
I actually like how all the story was developed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it started, from my point of view, it started kind of boring, and I was like, okay, I'm just there for like the original cast.
Okay.
You know, kind of like a nostalgia kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
you hear the voices.
This might be better than what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I was like, man, this is completely different from what I was expecting. I was expecting you like a carbon copy of what we've seen so far. And then it's like, man, it's different. It's like, man, that's great.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, animes try to keep the same, I would say, energy as in the manga with the same story.
Oh, definitely.
And this one definitely didn't do it. This is original story based off a manga, and you know, characters are the originals from the same author.
Yeah.
But it's like a different take.
Yeah, it's totally different, building up on.
Which, you know, at least for anime, sometimes that's really hard to create.
It is, yeah, because when you do that, you're not sure if it really will land on, you know, either the fan base or anything that will hold up in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this was a great thing.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I really liked it.
I hope you guys like it. Yeah, like if you haven't watched it, it's really quick. 8 episodes, 20 something to 30 minutes each.
Yeah.
So it's a really quick watch.
Yeah.
And
great.
Yeah, you know, the English one has the original voice actors. I watch it sub.
Oh yes. Yeah.
But still, man. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hope you guys like that.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch it. Keep watching anime. And that's it.
See ya.
Matane.